Could there ever be a rivalry between those two? Because they're both really good at it. They share geography. They share a stadium. But the fact that they don't compete for a division title, they're not going to run into each other in the only way they could play each other is in the
Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl, which, great to be fun, but that's an incredibly rare occurrence to have something like that happen. Can they be rivals just simply because they're in the same part of the city?
Oh, you're chasing the same nickel, and I would say the Rams are ahead because historically they've been here longer. There's a fan base here, but Harbaugh can build for right now. So the money you're trying to, I guess, extract or earn from the fan base is out there for the taking on both sides. I think the Rams are out in front, and I think they've been out in front because McVay has had more success than the other Charger coaches. But that could slowly change over time, especially as Mahomes gets older or as Andy Reid starts to cycle out of Kansas City and they fall back to mid-pack or whatever, and the Chargers keep rising. Say Justin Herbert becomes the other quarterback in the AFC.
Sure.
Right, and that's Harbaugh's guy, and you start to gain fans there, and then SoFi becomes a sellout for the Chargers. Yeah, that's when you become a rivalry. Maybe not between squads, like hated between the Niners and San Francisco, but from a business standpoint, absolutely you become rivals.
I get the business component of it, but and how long were you in L.A. before you went to St. Louis? Just one season?
Year.
Just one season?
1 year.
Did you feel like the Raiders were your rival at all?
Okay, so this is weird. I came from UW, Seattle, where we were everything. Right. 72, 75,000 people would show up. You could paint a rock purple and sell it for $20. It was that popular.
No, I know.
Coming to L.A., I'm like, dude, we are really second-class citizens here.
Yeah.
The Raiders got everything.
Yeah.
They got preferential treatment everywhere. There were more fans. It was the last game we had in Anaheim versus the Raiders. It was the first time I'd ever seen a stadium take over. It was like 80-20. It was ridiculous. So I could not believe that. So, we were second-class citizens. It does happen. It can happen if you're not winning. So that's the thing. If the Rams are going to stay ahead of the Chargers, I am almost positive Harbaugh is going to build them into a winner, a consistent winner.
He already has.
You got to stay ahead of them.
Yeah.
Because they'll build off that.
No, it's fascinating to me because, and I want to get into this coming up in just a little bit.
He's got a younger quarterback,
He's got a younger quarterback, and look, Sean, I don't want to throw any – this is no shade at Sean McVay at all, but the fact of the matter is Sean McVay has been with the Rams, period, right? And he's done a great job with them. Harbaugh's blank works, man. It clearly works because he's taken it with him USC, Stanford, San Francisco, Michigan, Chargers. That's 5 different places he's gone, and it's worked in all 5 places.
And it's not really shtick, but it is. Who do you think is better at the media stuff? Because Harbaugh does stuff to keep you talking.
Define better.
Like Harbaugh will do stuff and say stuff like the khaki slacks and the glasses.
The serial killer glasses.
Right, but just playing the image up. He knows you're watching. He knows he looks ridiculous, but it gets people talking.
Jim Harbaugh is
versus a supercomputer as a coach.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Like better at it as far as like more entertaining, it's Jim Harbaugh.
That's what I mean.
Because Jim Harbaugh is kind of corny. Jim Harbaugh is a goofball. Like when they asked him about the kick yesterday, right? He goes, "Oh, it's my favorite play in football." And then he just did it. It was, you could tell it was corny, but it was sincere, and he's into it. Sean McVay is the supercomputer, like you said. He's just this machine that can process all this information and regurgitate. But when Sean McVay starts talking about like his team, he's on autopilot.
Yeah.
Right. He's on autopilot. This is, be your best. He just is kind of going through the hit list of what he needs to say so he can go back to go to work.
Yeah, he's answering every question. He's good at answering.
He's good at answering, but he doesn't really give you a whole lot.
Yeah.
He's pretty deliberate in making sure that it's, I don't want to say vague, but non-specific, right? He's very good at that. But Harbaugh's entertaining.
McVay will give it to you, but if the Chargers ever become Super Bowl contenders, perennial Super Bowl contenders, he's going to compete for airtime everywhere in LA. That's what, and he's going to be. And Herbert being that young, you have at least 6, 7 more years with that.
They just signed him too, so they got
That's
some
what I'm
runway.
saying. So he's got the lightning in a bottle, so to speak, and more things to talk about after a while. So. Yeah, I'm actually hoping for a Charger downfall.
The Chargers, as currently aligned, the Chargers would play the Steelers in the first round of the playoffs.
I'd take the Steelers, wouldn't you?
I think I would, but I wouldn't be even a little surprised if the Chargers went in there and won that game.
In Pittsburgh?
In Pittsburgh.
Okay, that's weather.
It is, and I would pick the Steelers too, but I wouldn't bet my house on it.
No, because this is a Harbaugh-led football team.
And the Chargers are not a classic West Coast team. They're pretty physical. They run the football. They do all of those things.
What's the one thing you cannot replicate in L.A.?
Weather.
Cold weather.
Yeah. No, I get that, but what I'm getting at is Harbaugh could not only do this eventually, he could do it now.
That's what if you ever start, like, if they become Super Bowl contenders and everybody in the AFC has to come through here to win, you got problems. Long-term problems.
Matchup coming up next. Can't wait to hear it. That's DeMarco. It's Trav. 710 ESPN.